and quarterback played really well. Was pretty efficient. They got us on a couple of big plays where our eyes weren't very good. And it was just a hard fought game. I mean, which you knew it would be. I mean, you knew it would be coming into this. I mean, that's a lot of pride in these two programs. Both these programs have won a lot of games, a lot of championships. And to bring this game back, I think everybody sensed how special it would be. And I think, both teams rose to the occasion and gave us a great college football game. So proud of our team for finding a way to win. I thought we were in the fight the whole way. I think our mentality is starting to take shape a little bit. We'll get another challenge next week on that, but I've been pleased what I've seen out of our mentality. Now I think for us right now, it's about just as we move forward, trying to see how good of it as a team we can get. We still made a few too many mistakes, particularly on the offensive side of the ball that held us back. And when you get in a low possession game like that, you got to be ready because those possessions mean so much. We don't always get those in the Big 12. And in some ways, I had some flashbacks to the Army game a few years ago. I just knew, especially there at the third quarter, we had the one, great possession to start the half. And then I look up, I think when we got the ball back left, there was 8 seconds left in the half or in the quarter, if I remember correctly. So went quick, but yeah, it was a heavy hitter. I thought, both teams tackled pretty well. Nebraska probably tackled a little bit better than we did. Our defensive line obviously was the difference in the game, being able to limit them for the most part running, especially as many times as they, as Martinez ended up carrying the ball. He ended up with 17 for 34 yards, didn't really ever give him the big one, which was a big key. So defensively, a tremendous close there at the end, the Graham interception, and then obviously the pressures there at the end of the game. So I'm proud of our guys. We got a long ways to go as a football team. So much we can do better, but found a way to win in a tough game that meant a lot to both schools, both fan bases. So I know I hope our fans and former players, coaches, everybody that has been involved in this game and watched this game, been a fan of this game forever and ever, is proud of our guys for finding a way to win. I certainly am.
Okay, we'll go to questions. We'll start with Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Lincoln, I wanted to ask you about the Spencer's Day, especially there in the first half after that first really long drive. And then how do you feel like he responded in the second half there?
No, I thought he played pretty smart. I really did. I think he felt the game a little bit. There's an art to playing quarterback because you have so much control of the game with your decision making, and all of these games unfold differently, and you don't always know how they're going to play out, and there's executing your plays, but there's also a feeling of how the game's going and how the rest of the team is playing too. And so I thought he had good feel on that. He never really, other than he had one throw in the first half that missed a read. Other than that, he really didn't put the ball in danger. We were just, he had a couple of plays and decisions that I would want back. And it really felt like offensively, without having watched the tape, that everybody was just okay. As far as the quality of play, we fought our tails off, but we just weren't quite sharp enough to play elite ball. We had some great moments, especially to open both halves, but we've got to play cleaner ball. We just still have too many mistakes, especially, the ones, especially to me, are some of those first and second downs where we've got plays that ought to be getting easy yardage, and we're not executing those plays, and then we put ourselves in long yardage, and a long yardage game is not one anybody wants to be in over and over and over. So we're close there, and he'll play better. We'll get coached better. We'll continue to improve offensively. We're close. If we will keep battling and we'll keep growing and progressing as an offense, we could have a pretty good unit.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lincoln, you brought up the Army game. There haven't been a lot of low possession, really field position games since you've been here, even as offensive coordinator. How has it been to adjust to that? And then the other question is, DJ's interception is going to be the highlight of the game, maybe. But is there a part of you going, man, I wish that ball would hit the ground?
Oh, yeah. No, I went over there. I think I might have been the first coach in the history of college football to challenge a play that we got an interception on, because we were watching a replay and we thought it juggled around, and I literally walked over to the official, and I might have challenged it. And then he said that they had 100% confirmed it up there. So yeah, I was hoping it would have gone down, but what a play. I mean, just a phenomenal play, but he's got great ball skills. I mean, we've seen him make catches like that in practice. So it was huge, but it wasn't like something that we had never seen. Yeah. And then adjusting to these games. I mean, that's my job. That's the thing, is you just never know how these games are going to play out. And I think it's, you got to know your football team. You got to have a feel for how the way the game's playing, and you got to have confidence in the other sides of the ball. Whether it's offense, whether it's defense, special teams, in all sides of the ball to do their part. And certainly some of our decisions today were kind of based on the flow of the game and trying to give us just the best chance of winning. I mean, that's what I get paid to make decisions on. And so I thought we did it. And again, our guys responded well.
Sorry, I'm not hearing Mike out on the call outs. The Pat Fields play, Lincoln, and the Isaiah Coe block. It's one of those momentum plays. They score, they're coming back, here they come, and you get that thing, and it's like a lightning bolt the other direction. Can you describe how that play changed the game a little bit?
Yeah, it was a huge play. It was. And I think that just goes back to our mentality. And I think that's a sign of our mentality growing as a football team. Some people think a little extra point, big deal. I mean, how many teams do you see take that play off? And then all of a sudden we flip that, and instead of being a 4-point game, it's a 7-point game. I mean, it was just it's a huge play. Great job by our guys down the field, not getting a penalty. I think we did get a penalty on the sideline, but maybe got bumped into, but it was a great play. It was. And, just kind of like we tell our guys all the time, you never know when those big ones are coming, but if you're mentally into everyone and you're playing everyone like your last, you'll be ready to seize the moment. And great job by Isaiah getting the penetration and the block, and then an awesome play by Pat and the guys to get it returned.
Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Hey, Lincoln, I'll ask you a question. They had a lot of success on third downs, converting. What was the problems there on defense? Just getting off the field, and you had them third and maybe a fourth down or two as well.
Yeah, guys made a couple of plays. I mean, we a couple of times we were in some 3-man rushes, and didn't quite get the pressure that we feel like we should have. And a lot of them, honestly, several of them were on kind of broken plays just with that. So, that's kind of the chess game back and forth, especially with an athletic quarterback, like him, because he's so good at pulling it down and running it that in a lot of ways can be their best third down offense and maybe the toughest one to defend. So I thought we adjusted a little bit as it went on. And listen, we've been in, I mean, it's kind of like the Tulane game in a way where all of a sudden, it's kind of 4-down territory every time. And I mean, it's when you are playing teams that now have 4 downs instead of 3, it's a different world. We'd all be a lot better on offense if we knew we had 4 downs every time we touched the football. So I'm sure there's going to be some things that we can clean up coverage wise, but hard to fault our pass rush, the way it was all day. A couple of times we got to get there, but obviously a couple of times we've got to lock in and cover better in the back end.
Hey, Lincoln, I'm just curious, I don't know that I've seen a guy like Spencer come into a season like this with, all the mock draft projections and that we all knew was still not a finished product. And, people point to the name, image, likeness deals with him and just all that stuff that followed him into the season. Is that maybe a bigger concern for you than any player that you've coached before, just him having to deal with the pressure that's on him?
No, I mean, we feel that now. And I hear your point on, there's been some things that have changed, but if you think there hadn't been a pretty intense spotlight on the quarterback position every year that I've been here, I mean, you just name the challenges, they're there. But I think Spencer's handled it well. He's practiced his tail off. He's getting better as a player. I don't think he would have handled today the same way a year ago. Just with the way the game unfolded. So playing quarterback's about learning to win, and he's learning to win in different ways and getting better. And, listen, offensively, again, kind of like I said, I mean, it's just to play at an elite level against a good defense, and they're a very good defense. I mean, to play at an elite level, you got to be really, really sharp, and we're just a tick off. We're going to get there, though. I promise you. You'll see it here soon.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Jenny Carlson?
Lincoln, I know your defense was not perfect today, but it seemed like they've taken some strides to find those moments that they make big plays. At this point in the year, where do you feel like they are, and how encouraged, discouraged are you just with all of that?
Oh yeah, super encouraged. Front's played pretty well the last 2 weeks. Which I mean that we need them to play well. I mean, there are, probably the most talented group on the whole football team. They're probably the deepest group on the whole football team. And right now we're, especially in the back end, we're playing a lot of young guys. Especially with Woody not being available to play this week. I mean, we're playing a lot, and Billy Bowman as well. And even obviously when Billy's back, he's a true freshman. So that back end will continue to get better. We're doing a lot of good things. I think you see improvements each week, and I think if we can continue to tighten up back there, it could. I think the production of our defense overall is going to continue to grow and grow. So I'm excited about the way we're playing, and the good thing is, we can play a whole lot better, and that's what we're going to be striving for.
Brandon Drum.
Hey, Lincoln, can you talk about Andrew Rame? Looked like he came in through about the third series on, and seemed to take control of the center position for you guys. And then also, can you talk about, you talked about your front seven being the most talented group, and just how different that is compared to just a couple of years ago, just the dynamic of the defense or just your team overall.
Yeah. Yeah, Ram. I mean, I don't know. It's like taking over the center job. I mean, we ended up playing him a little bit more today. We knew we were going to play both of them. So watch the tape. I thought not anything Rob Consul did bad. He's playing well. Now we knew we wanted to play Andrew some as well. It's pretty close between those guys. So we'll let them continue to battle. And obviously just got to see the tape to be able to have an idea of the way those guys played. And then, yeah, I think the dynamic of the team, I mean, team dynamics change every year. Your roster turns over so much. And I don't, like, for me right now, it's not about comparing to years past. It's just, let's learn as much as we can about this football team, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are. Let's continue to really try to push on our strengths, and then really, try to take big strides on the weaknesses that we have and try to turn them into strengths. And that's what the season's all about, man. It's a long road. And so we're showing some signs, of being a good football team, but there's a lot more out there for us.
James Hale.
Lincoln, earlier in the week, it was interesting when you talked about your pass rush and your guys were too high at times to finish plays. And I'm watching them chase Martinez around, and you've had some of the best running quarterbacks in college football, and they're trying to break down and trying to get this guy. Can you talk about that battle today, trying to get a hold of this guy who was incredibly slippery, and you guys are beating their linemen, but you just can't get him down all the time?
Yeah, he's a good player, man. I mean, he's he's not just fast and athletic, but he's built pretty well too. He's a big kid, and almost kind of slips out some stuff the way Baker used to a little bit, kind of the thickness, and it's just not real easy to bring down. So, that's obviously one of their best weapons is when he pulls it down and runs it, and he's gifted. So, I thought a couple of times, especially when we got pushed from the interior, we were able to kind of just converge on them. And that's obviously what you want when you get in one-on-one situations like a guy like that, with a guy like that. Obviously, we want to get them down every time, but that's where the rest of your defense has got to be there to clean it up. And that's where I thought we were good. I mean, there's going to be some times we're going to go back and film and said, we absolutely had a shot to take, and you got to take your shot. But what happened was, even when he got out, it wasn't huge plays. We were still able to strain and get to the football and try to limit the damage there.
Thanks, man. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Mason Young.
Lincoln, wanted to ask you about the flea flicker in the third quarter. How far do you think that little bit of trickery went to getting the offense rolling? And also Nick Benito, seems like there was more production from him today maybe than there has been.
Yeah, it was a good play. I mean, it worked out good. People got, I think everybody kind of got a little shot in the arm with it. So, I don't get too caught up in the momentum of those. That's a great play, but if you don't go finish the drive off, then obviously not worth as much. So we did a good job finishing the drive off, executing the play. Yeah, Benito was good. I thought he played well. Obviously, got a few more snaps today. I hadn't seen the final numbers, but I would imagine had a few more snaps than what he's had. And so he's an active guy, man, and he's really improved so much against the run, which just made him a very, very difficult player to play against.
Thanks, Lincoln.
You're welcome.
Couple more, Ryan Haber.
Yeah, Lincoln, going back to Spencer, you talked about him being, much more prepared maybe at the same time than he was at the same time last year. Does that give you more confidence to sort of let him play through things? I know he didn't have the turnovers today, say that he had against Texas a year ago, but to let him work through those things when, maybe he's not, as sharp as he's shown at various points.
Oh, no question. No question. I mean, even some of the plays there at the end of the game that we call were kind of based on that, just a high trust level in him. And I felt like he had one or two things that he didn't see well that I think he saw and has just got to trust. Again, I think for him, it's the wanting to make a play and knowing he can make a play versus staying within the scheme. And so he's getting better and better with it. But yeah, I do. I trust him. I do. He's been in a lot of these. I thought he saw it well and had a good feel for it today. The execution's just got to be a little bit sharper. And that's again, that goes back to everybody, not Spencer. We kind of took our turns when it wasn't good. We had a couple of things on third down that were really there where protection wasn't great. We missed a couple throws. We busted one route. There were a couple of calls that I would just kill to have back right now. So we just got to all clean up a little. And if we do that, then there's going to be more production for everybody.
Appreciate it, Lincoln.
Welcome.
Myron.
Yeah, Lincoln, how good is it? I know you've been trying to figure some things out, your offensive line, everything else, but hey, under 6 minutes to go, you're able to run the ball deep in your own territory. You didn't run the clock out by the time you gave it up. It's less than a minute to go. They knew you were going to run it, but you still were able to run it.
Yeah, no, we did a good job there. Obviously got multiple first downs and should have ran the whole thing out. But so I'm happy we got the ones we did. Disappointed we didn't get the last one, just close it out. But we're getting better there. Yeah, and it was important part of the game, especially being backed up. Was an important part of the game, and thought we did a good job there.
And last one, Brandon Drum.
Lincoln, you talked about, trusting Spencer and just the time that it took, where I guess you said there was like 8 seconds left on the clock or whatever when you got the ball back at one point in a quarter. How hard is that as a play caller for you guys, for you to get in a rhythm, and transversely for Spencer to get in a rhythm and understand what's going on on the field as well?
Yeah, it is. It's tougher. I mean, it is. There's just, and what it does is it just magnifies every play and every possession, especially with two teams that tackle pretty well. I mean, that's what it does. It magnifies it. It makes them all bigger. But that you got to fight through it. Again, some games are going to play out like that, and you got to fight through it. You got to, again, learn to win. You got to learn to be able to process and focus and understand you may not be on the field for 20 minutes. And that's so different than anything else we do. Rarely in a practice are you going to just not do anything for 20 minutes, all of a sudden start playing football again. So yeah, we'll continue to grow and learn, but found a way. That's what matters.
Oh, sorry. One more, Team Levin's last one. Dean, are you on?
He's trying to unmute, I think.
Okay.
Hey.
Brian, this is some fantastic teamwork going on right here.
We get an A for teamwork on this
I'll
one.
tell you what,
I just got out of it. Hey, Coach.
Hi, Dean.
Hey, Coach, I was curious, two things. Spencer seemed to hang in the pocket a lot better in the second half. Wonder if that was discussed any or worked on before this game. And it seemed like Hazelwood, I don't know if you call it a breakout game, but it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, I thought Jaden was good. He made some really competitive catches. Had obviously the tough play go against him down there on the fade ball, but yeah, Jaden was good. Yeah, he made some really good plays. Was proud of the way he played. Yeah, it's Spence. I think we protected him a little bit better the second half. Just a couple things that we just missed. We didn't have free guys running through, but we just weren't quite clean in a couple of protections in the first half. So I did. I mean, he's been there, you know. So I thought he got settled in and certainly was better there.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks everybody.